Chapter 15. Ticket to Ride. No way, Goober, Rita said, not even looking up from her SAT prep workbook. Carpool is torture enough. Pretty please, Barry begged, with a cherry on top just this once. I need your help. I need a lift out to the marina to meet my friends. He wrung his hands. He'd stuffed the parchment letter in his pocket, but the words were seared into his brain. It's late, Rita said with a sigh. Mom and Dad are working late. That means I'm in charge and I'm not budging. I gotta finish this stupid exercise. But I really need a ride, Barry said, trying to think fast. I'll make it up to you. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. Finally, she lifted her head. She frowned when she actually saw him. What's got you so jumpy? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I just really need a ride, he said. Come on, please just help me out. He couldn't tell her about Captain Hook. There was no way that she'd believe him. He remembered his mom's reaction at the museum. Rita would be worse. Why do you want to go out to the marina so bad anyway? She asked, giving him a suspicious look. I don't buy it. My sibling radar is on high alert. What aren't you telling me? Spit it out already. Her eyes bored into him. Sibling radar was no joke. His sister could be super psychic when she wanted to be. Fine. There's this cute girl, Barry said, his cheeks burning, and she texted me that she'll be hanging out by the marina with her friends today. Rita giggled. Ah, talking to girls. No wonder you look like you've seen a ghost. That's like the scariest thing ever, right? Don't rub it in, Barry mumbled, even though it was a lie. Just the concept of discussing girls with his sister freaked him out almost as bad as Captain Hook did. And it was certainly far more embarrassing. Wow, it's almost worth giving you a ride just to watch you squirm, Rita said. Does this girl have an actual name? Barry glared at his sister. No way. I'm not telling you. You'll never let me live it down. I know how you operate. Rita stared right back at him. She fingered her car keys sitting on the kitchen table. Then you're not getting a ride. Fine. Her name is Wendy, Barry muttered. And that's all the details I'm giving you. Oh, Barry's got a crush on Wendy, Rita said, making a kissy face. I can't wait to tell Brooke about this. She's gonna die laughing. On second thought, maybe he should skate out there. Nothing was worth this. Giving his sister leverage over him was a terrible idea. Do that and you'll pay, Barry said, regretting asking for help. Goober, you're not exactly in a position to bargain, Rita said, firing off a quick text to Brooke. As I recall, you're just a kid, and I'm the one with the driver's license. Ugh, I hate you, Barry muttered. But she was right. She had him cornered, just the way she liked it. I love you too, Rita said, scooping up her keys. I'll give you a ride, but just 'cause I'm feeling generous tonight, and I hate that stupid prep class. But this is a one-time deal. Don't make a habit of it. Dude, your sister's driving way over the speed limit, John said nervously as Rita sped off, leaving them down the street from the entrance to the marina. She'd promised to pick them up in 2 hours sharp. And what's this about you having a crush on Wendy? Wait, Wendy Deary? Michael said, she's kind of weird. Barry sighed. No, I made all that up so Rita would give us a ride. I was trying to think of something fast. And well, that's the first idea that popped into my head. Wendy was the first idea? Michael said, looking at John with a sly smile. Uh-oh. You know what that means? Wait, what are you talking about? Barry said. It's not true. I swear it. I just made that up to convince Rita. Dude, it means that you actually like her, Michael said. Like, if you're stressed out and she's your first thought. Yeah, you want to kiss Wendy, John said, making a puckered face. Like if the zombie apocalypse hit, her her face would flash before your eyes. That's how you know it's true love. For the record, I don't like Wendy or any other lame girls from our class, Barry said with a dramatic sigh. She probably doesn't even remember me. See, you do like her, Michael said triumphantly. Or else why would you care if she forgot about you? Barry stormed ahead in a funk. This was the last thing he wanted to think about. He had far more important things to think about. But then doubt crept into his mind. Why had he thought up that story for Rita? He shook his head, clearing the thought. He didn't like girls. They talked too much. They giggled at things that weren't even funny. They smelled like hairspray and baby powder. Basically, they made 0 sense. His sister proved that, and they were scary too. Look, we have more important things to worry about, Barry said, skidding to a halt on the sidewalk next to the guardrail that looked over the water. The waves churned and sloshed up against the rocks down below, spritzing his face. Like, how do I get on that pirate ship? Barry pointed across the marina to the Jolly Roger, which was docked in its usual spot by the gates to the Maritime Museum. It was late and already closed. There was a main building that housed the museum, but the pirate ship had its own entrance over by the water. Let's go check it out, John suggested, pointing to the ship. Together they jogged over and hid near the ticket booth. If you bought a ticket to the museum, it granted you access to both the main museum and the pirate ship. The gate that led to the Jolly Roger's gangplank was chained shut. The ship was dark since it was after hours. The skull and crossbones flag flapped in the stiff breeze whipping off the ocean. Barry swallowed hard. The gangplank swayed and buckled as the waves churned under it. He was still afraid of the ocean and whatever lurked under those dark waves. So, how do we get onto the ship? He asked, feeling his stomach twist. He scanned for the security guards, spotting one ambling down the sidewalk in front of the main museum building. His gut jutted over his belt. He didn't look very formidable, but he could always summon help. And the Jolly Roger was right in his line of sight. Right. I count just the one guard over there, Michael said, following Barry's gaze toward the security guard by the main museum. I bet it's just that one rent-a-cop. Yep, and that lock on the gate, John said, pointing to the hefty padlock. The metal gate to their right blocked the entrance to the gangplank that led to the Jolly Roger. How do I get past the gate and onto the ship? Barry said, following the guard's movement back and forth in front of the museum, without him noticing. The guard was positioned where he was sure to notice anything awry by the museum, by the marina. From his vantage point, he could keep an eye on both the main museum and the ship. Oh, it's just like that time we snuck into the skate park after dark, remember? Michael said. We'll distract the security guard, and then you can jump over the gate. All right. The old, our parents forgot to pick us up, we're helpless lost kids routine, Barry said, remembering how it always worked like a charm on security guards. They wanted nothing more than to prove they were useful. They loved helping lost kids. Barry smiled at his friends. All three had slipped back into their Lost Boys mode. This wasn't the first time they snuck into a place where they didn't belong. Yep, it's genius, John said. Don't tell me. You invented it? Yep, sure did, Barry said. It was my idea for the first time we tried it. Jeez, I still don't remember you, Michael said, but I sure miss you. Yeah, glad you're back. When you notice the guard is distracted, vault the gate. Just move fast. Not sure how long we can keep his attention away from the ship, but only if you tell us first. Michael added with a winked grin. How badly do you want to kiss Wendy, dearie? Shut up, Barry said, smiling in spite of himself. I don't like her. They all laughed. Barry waited while his friends approached the guard. He could see John even working up some fake tears to sell their lost boy story. He watched while concern spread over the guard's face. He turned his back away from the pirate ship. This was his chance. As soon as the security guard turned away from the marina, escorting Michael and John toward the main museum's building's entrance, presumably to help them contact their parents, Barry leapt out of his hiding spot. Of course, Michael and John wouldn't give him their real names or phone numbers. Eventually, the guard would catch on and be very unhappy. But it should buy Barry enough time to get onto the ship. He sped up to the gate, then clambered up the metal bars before flipping over the top and landing in a crouch. All those days perfecting tricks at the skate park were good for something. Not to mention all that time spent sleuthing around like the kid detectives in his mystery books, pretending to solve cases. Barry glanced back toward the main museum. The guard was still occupied with Michael and John. He'd pull out his phone to call for help, but Barry had to hurry. As soon as their parents didn't pick up the phone, the guard would catch on to their prank, and Barry would get busted. He bolted away from the gate and down the gangplank. It swayed under his feet. Suddenly, his sneakers slipped on the wet wood. He plunged toward the side. He grabbed onto the rope railing. It seared his palms. His face was only inches from the water. Tick-tock, tick-tock. That strange noise echoed up from the water. All of a sudden, a dark shape darted past. It had a long, spiny tail.